everyone. Hello dear colleagues. Happy to see you again. Alright. Okay, I hope you can hear me well. Hi there. So today the next interview session. Hi Inna. So my guest today is Miss Inna Piankovska from Ukraine, and we prepared very interesting topic. We hope we're gonna discuss the teaching career, values of this career. Hi dear. Miss Inna will share her experience, how she was building the career in governmental state institutions. She was a teacher and then she decided to give it up and go to a different path. She's still teaching, but she started something absolutely new. So she will be sharing her experience, and her project is very much successful. So stay tuned, because this is what we're going to discuss. Miss Inna, I'm approving your request. Hi!
Great to see you.
Happy to see you. How are you?
I'm good and very excited about
Sure.
things we're going to discuss today.
Yes.
How are you doing?
Oh, thank you. I'm doing very well. I was looking forward to our interview, so I'm super happy that we are live. And now we're gonna talk. Inna, I already told our colleagues what we're gonna discuss, and I just want to announce the topic. So it was actually a quote which I found, and I thought that it really shows, the topic which we're going to discuss today. So the only impossible journey is the one you never begin. I hope it is.
Wow, so spot on, my God.
I hope it is motivational and inspiring to all of us, especially at the beginning of the year. So I hope this is going to be something interesting. Just a few points to tell our dear colleagues about you, Inna. Miss Inna, MA in English Language and Literature, candidate of science in pedagogy. She worked as an instructor of English at National International University Ostroh Academy, online tutor for 4 years, and right now she began her new career, new path, which we're gonna talk about. But Inna, could you please give us an idea how you actually began teaching in the first place, your touching story about becoming a teacher?
Good old days. I mean, it was the ages ago when it happened. I started teaching while I still was a student at university. I was offered to try myself at teaching, and I liked it a lot. Actually, when I started teaching at university, I'd been already tutoring, like school children, and I enjoyed it tremendously. So I decided to give it a shot, and I taught for 2 years before I had my daughter, and then I spent 2 years on maternity leave, and then when I got back, I believe my true journey in teaching began, because I started working with the English major students, and it was a whole different story, totally different ball game, so to put it. And it was extremely fascinating because I understood that I had to work on my English as well properly, and it never ended. So once I started, perfecting everything, making sure that I can deliver the best to my students, I mean, the journey goes on. And all in all, I've been teaching for around 17 years now.
Wow, that's a lot. Well, you're actually correct. Once we begin, it's never-ending story. I mean, in perfecting ourselves as well, because English is the same foreign language for us as for our students. So we always need to polish it. So is it correct that you actually worked in this university since 2003 until 19? So it's actually like 16 years.
Yeah,
Right.
around
And
time.
how and then you decided to give it up. So what was the motivation? What were the thoughts?
The thing is that I mean, some other changes started taking place in my life, and at a certain point, I believe it might resonate with other colleagues who work or worked at a certain point in a state school or university, you name it. Uh, it's part of the system. I mean, even though like it's just, I mean, and it works for some people. It's not that like I'm told. I mean, all like it was. I mean, I'm super grateful to to Ostroh Academy. I mean, it's a great university. Like I met wonderful colleagues there, and those people who work there now, they like doing the best they can. The thing is that like whatever you do, even if you do your best, you're still part of the system. So you can never do something that is not part of the system. You cannot like jump, you know, above your head. And I mean, there are certain requirements you need to stick to on a regular basis. And normally one day, I like started asking some questions, you know, like, okay, why am I not feeling the way I want to feel? Why am I not looking the way I want to look? Why am I not, you know, doing more of things that I enjoy? What do you enjoy? I mean, so the thing is that you turn into functions that you perform, and then you forget about other things. But when you start forgetting them, it somehow, I mean, this like the depth of your soul, it somehow starts calling and asking like, hello, I'm here. And you feel all these emotions which are uncomfortable, and you start figuring out, why is this happening? And eventually when you um, when you start figuring out why this is happening, you start arriving at certain answers. And if you are true with yourself, you start following these answers, even if they are uncomfortable, because you realize they will lead to some changes. They will lead to things that you at present find like not just uncomfortable or inconvenient, but things that might literally terrify you. But
Exactly.
but then, you know, this, I really like this quote. And the day came when the danger to remain like in the bud was bigger than the danger to bloom, something like this.
That's
So well, actually, you understand that, okay, I'm going to take a leap, to make the leap of faith. I understand that it might be terrifying. It might be absolutely like I might feel absolutely out of my place. But if I don't do this, it will be even worse. You know, I
And
mean,
I'm so grateful that you are saying this, especially at the beginning of our interview, because I think that this is kind of message for anyone who is in two minds between kind of change, whatever the change is, whether you are working in a state institution, in a governmental place, and you are considering going solo, or whatever you are doing, vice versa. But this is kind of a message that you deliver to our colleagues, because we always feel frightened to begin something new, because we kind of got used to, maybe we somehow feel more or less we are limited, we cannot do everything what we want, even though we know that it might be even better, but we are afraid that we will be lost or will not succeed or something like that. But someone said that teachers, it's not a coincidence that teachers are on the same social kind of stage as politicians, as artists, as actors, all of this creativity, charisma, right? And we cannot be limited. We need to go our own path if we feel this is the moment. And I'm super happy that you did.
yeah, well, thank you. I mean, I believe it wouldn't be possible without certain like things I did and people who helped me along the way. And it is extremely important because like still like before I made the serious decision to change something, I would like read like a lot. I mean, these like blogs of, you know, coaches and therapists and oh my God, I lost my thoughts. Okay, doesn't matter. Okay, the thing is that yeah, so one one point that they were making, like everyone, so any change should be sort of like accompanied by the change in your surroundings, right? And people like you that surround you, people you talk and communicate with on a regular basis. And I believe this is very true. I mean, I can only subscribe to this uh, because things started shifting like 2 years, was it? Which, okay, 2 years ago, right? Exactly like around this time, 2 years ago, I attended this little event by Mary Lisovska in Lutsk. It was a very small meeting, like 15 teachers or so. Most of them were from Lutsk, and I was one of you know, several teachers who came from other towns and cities, and we had a wonderful meeting. And the thing is, I like until that day, I always thought of my job like, I mean, like the stage of it, it's real, like a real job. I mean, so everything else is like you're just like messing around, just playing with jobs or whatever. I mean, so I belong to this generation that was raised this way, and I believe lots of people will find this familiar. Uh, People my age who were born in the 80s, let's say, and yeah, so we had this little meeting, and we started off by each participant sharing their professional background, you know, and I don't know, but like thinking back, I didn't realize what a sort of the transformational thing I was taking part in. And it's so beautiful when I think about this. And I was like, it would be 15 people, each of whom had a totally different career. Like some people were like, you know, teaching online only, some working online schools, some doing like cruise ships, some people were like running their own language schools, and they were serious about it. And I'm like, oh my God, you know, like literally look at that. I mean, this is amazing. And we had so many wonderful conversations, so many interesting ideas exchanges, and somehow like it planted so many seeds, like this meeting, that I believe I'm reaping the harvest up until this day. And most importantly, this meeting inspired me to start my own blog on Instagram. It's not that I had a blog, but I wasn't writing anything about teaching, nothing. It was just some pictures of nature and maybe some like my thoughts, poetry, whatever. And then when I started my blog, somehow some people started coming and following. Like, oh my God, who are those people? Like, I don't know them, but there were not so many of them. But like, they started like commenting and kind of sharing their thoughts or things like, oh, it's so nice you mentioned about this. And like, this was something I'd never had before. You know, I've never had something like that. You know, it was thing I know. The only thing I knew was interaction with students. You know, some chat with colleagues, and that's it. But it was such a wonderful experience that started unfolding the more time I was devoting to this. And I guess the point of no return was when I attended another nice conference in Lutsk organized by Yulia Yakovlyuk. I mean, people here might know her name, and like she's wonderful too. And there was, I mean, there was a girl there. I mean, it was a teacher who kind of texted me during this event when I was there, and she's like, "Oh, you know, it's so great you're here because I've been following your blog for a while, and it's so unusual to see you like live. I mean, it's so unusual to see you so close." And it was like, you know, like it's like totally new experience. Like, what? I mean, I've never thought about myself that way. Like, you know, the things you like you just want to share can have this sort of impact on people, you know. And this is the power. I mean, I just started dawning on me that day, but the more I did it afterwards, the more it was like, wow. I mean, so I'm
Someone said
speechless.
someone said that nowadays bloggers are like new rock stars, you know,
All
because
right.
at
Yeah.
our ages we were looking at the celebrities in the TV, but now
Mm-hmm.
bloggers are the rock stars. Yes, exactly. And how do you feel now after teaching at a state university, now being a blogger, and um, like being self-employed and being employed? How is it viewed by non-teachers? Someone who's just your friends, your relatives. What do they think?
Oh,
As
well, it
you said, they
depends.
support.
Yeah, I mean, my parents have always been supportive of everything I did, and I was like very much happy when they supported my decision, because I believe for one part, like all parents want their children to be like happy and satisfied with the life and fulfilled. And just because I had so many duties at work, even though like I enjoyed doing some things, but there were too many of them, like too many of them. And at a certain point, you stop enjoying things because you get overwhelmed. Um, and they saw the way I felt. I mean, how exhausted I like was all the time. And then I believe it was one of the reasons they went along with my decision. So, um, but I believe that hello, Mary. Okay, so you need like a totally different set of skills and mindset and everything else. The thing is, so when you work as a part of the system, what you do is you stick with the requirements of the system. You like look for the ways how to perform within the limits of the system, and you kind of you learn how to like arrange time, like to kind of make time for things you like, things like your family, things like your hobbies, you name it. But then certain things remains the same. You definitely know that your income is going to be regular. Maybe won't be the way like as much as you want, but it will come on a regular basis. And so basically, the reasons why you get frustrated or disappointed or annoyed come from the fact that you cannot change much about the situation, right? So, not, I mean, certain things depend on you, but you can't influence the system, or even if you do, these are very minor changes that can come about because of this. When you start being self-employed, I mean, it's it's the like, as I said, totally different ball game, because you start feeling anxious about the regularity of your income. You look for the ways to arrange your time more effectively, because then if you can plan your time, so you need to understand how to do this. Um, in the most efficient way, and then suddenly you have more freedom than you used to, and you're like, oh my god, maybe I should take another walk because of this. And this was my last year, because I was so excited about the fact I can go outside whenever I wanted, that like I jumped at every opportunity. And I guess this is wonderful. And you learn different skills. You learn how to manage your time. You actually learn to listen to yourself. Um, you need to learn to understand like what you want, like what makes you special. Because if you want to create something, if you want to position yourself somehow online as a blogger, as an online tutor, as somebody who runs some other projects, right? So you need to understand what sort of people can be part of your tribe, and for this reason, you need to understand what you can offer, and it comes from understanding yourself, your values, and things that make you kind of special, you know. So,
But
yeah.
I'm in love with your blog a lot,
Thank you.
and I would like to encourage guys, if you do not follow Inna, please do. Inna's posts are in majority in Ukrainian. However, you can always use this C translation button or
Yeah,
whatever they
please
call
do.
it. Right. And just, translate and read it because Ina's thoughts are much insightful and she's sharing priceless ideas.
Oh,
So I
thank
highly
you.
encourage you, right? Ina, okay. What are the values behind the teaching profession today, in your opinion?
Mhm. Well, the thing is that, like, I guess it depends on, I mean, the set of values. I mean, there's the set that all teachers will share, I believe, but it also might depend on other factors like your experience and people you work with, maybe your personal goals. But I believe that there are things like we share in common, things we share and have in common are about, or should be about, I don't know, like as I recently wrote, I mean, it's like teaching to me, and I started discovering teaching on a much more profound level when I actually started being self-employed, because when you work with groups of students, obviously you connect with them, you build this rapport. I mean, everything is great, but then again, you follow the curriculum. You need to uh, hello. Uh, you need to complete this, like this number of units within this period of time. Okay, so it's up to the students to to sink or swim, to make sure that they keep up with everything. But once you start teaching individually, and it took me some time to realize this, it doesn't work this way, because you're working with a person. And I'm very happy that last year, yeah, last year I took a course on andragogy, which is the science of teaching adults, which is slightly different from pedagogy. And andragogy is great. Like, it actually like explains all the peculiarities, how we approach working with adults. And like, I regretted not doing this earlier, not learning about this earlier, um, because it clarified so many things, and put so many things in the right perspective. So like, andragogy is a must if you decide to like go solo, or like maybe set set up your own school and work with adults. I mean, andragogy is a must. And other courses related to teaching adults, maybe some, at least some elements of language coaching, things like, yeah, maybe dogma, this, this approach kind of works well with adults as well. But yeah, so we're approaching values. I remember this. It's just, I mean, working with adults, like, it just, because of working with adults, I discovered the way you can interact on a more personal level with students. And that this is what changed my perspective on values. I believe I suffered a lot from the fact that when you work with like students at university, like, it's impossible to project everything you want. You always hide something, not intentionally, but just because it's not okay. Um, you feel like uncomfortable revealing certain things. But when you work with adults, it's totally fine. And so you can have more integrity. You can feel more wholesome when you work with adults, because you can project your personality to the fullest, and do it to the benefit of learning. Um, yeah, so I guess this is my value in the first place. It's like being genuine, and I mean, being honest with myself and with my students, and understand the responsibility that like underpins all this process, because like, obviously we can't be perfect all the time, but I believe that we need to be like honest with ourselves that whatever I do with delivering the best to my students in mind. So uh, even if I feel I messed up something, I want to like believe that next time I'll do everything I can to actually to improve or to to deliver this in a better way.
Of course. And I think it's not like we are hiding something from the students who are, let's say, under
Yeah,
18
maybe
years
just
old,
yeah.
whatever the age. It's just because they are still in childhood, if I can say so. They are protected by their parents and they do not understand a lot of things which adults face when they are approximately 18 plus and more. We all know all of these pain, some kind of obstacle, some kind of life problems. So no matter what the age is, but we speak the same language, whereas with the children, so it's just certain things are not in their interest. That's it. So that's why.
Exactly. And for some people it's fine. I mean, I guess that like the right teachers who thrive when like teaching like kids or like preschoolers, maybe primary like students or like teens, I believe it depends. Like maybe I needed to arrive at this idea that I need to work with adults. This is what will make me happy in the long run. So
Yes.
yeah.
Can you share, please, any successful stories of your students, no matter the
Well,
age? Something what you
okay.
keep in your heart.
Well, um, okay. So if we start from, let's say, students I taught at university. Um, so there are, I mean, I'm happy. I mean, I can't say it is because of like me or whatever. It just like I'm happy that I happened to work with these people when they were students. This is the way I can put it.
Right.
So a lot of students actually went on, like after graduation, they went on to become teachers as well. Some of them actually founded their own language schools. Some of them also work as like have their very successful blogs. And frankly speaking, when I just like started writing about teaching in my blog, uh, I bumped into their blogs or they found me somehow and I like, oh great, I know the student. I'd like to check out their blogs. And like and I look and they have like several thousand followers and oh my god, what am I doing there? I mean, what am I doing here on Instagram? Why am I doing this? I mean, I had like a few hundreds, like maybe like 300 or 400, and they would have like 10 or 10 times or more. So at first, like it was something that discouraged me a lot, but I decided, okay, if I want to keep doing this, I need to keep doing this regardless. I mean, no matter what. So yeah, so some of them they do like blogging, and so I'm happy for them because normally the funny thing is when they just enter the university, I used to work with like first year students a lot, and then they would go like, I've entered this university because I want to become an interpreter or translator, like in future. But then after they have their first internship, when they are in their fourth year, they have the first internship, and then they take to teaching a lot. And then when they come back, they say, okay, teaching is so great. I like to keep teaching. And after graduation, a lot of them they go on to teach and to do something related to teaching, so which is great. And when it comes to my online students, uh, well, I had a few students with this particular goals in mind. Like I worked with IT guys, HR managers as well. So basically, they're like most of them wanted to improve the level of English, and they did throughout this period, or they got this like tools that I mean by tools I mean like techniques that they could use like independently, and I was very glad that they became such independent learners. And obviously, this is I guess kind of standard success story when a person comes and wants to get prepared to the interview, you know, and then so like we plan this process, and then they are successful, they succeed, which is great, and I'm happy too, obviously. So I had cases like this. And another wonderful thing that last year I also started working with my colleagues who wanted to improve their English. So, and this is like the best thing to have teachers as your students. I mean, this is something that is rewarding, like though challenging, but rewarding, and it brings a lot of joy into my life, because then I can share the language on the level I love it the most. Okay, with
Exactly.
because when you work with people who need, like, I mean, who need language for the interview, who want just some basics, functional language, you need to, I mean, you need to look at your love to the language, which is huge, and take just a little piece out of it, and okay, now here's your function, like here's your interview. Okay, but you want to share like on your love to the language on a more profound level, and this is possible to do with teachers, or with people who prepare for exams as well. I mean, I guess it's also possible, but then again, it's more of a system. So working with teachers is something that I found extremely rewarding.
Wonderful, wonderful words. You just mentioned in online students, right? And we were talking about the university students, which means offline.
Mm-hmm.
And I recall your recent webinar from October that you
Mm-hmm.
delivered on the Start Teaching and Learning YouTube channel, and it was
Mm-hmm.
so much insightful. Guys, make sure to check when less is more. This is the
All
name.
right. Yep.
So, teaching less is more, and Ines sharing priceless idea about, simply preparing for lessons when we want to give our students a lot, but actually this is not what they need. We need to give them less, and they will get more from this. And it is like an hour webinar. Please make sure to watch, because many, many insights there. However, Ina, just right now, if you could say a little bit of your insights between the offline, online learning,
Mm-hmm.
your personal insights, because we all know that we are facing this change
Mm-hmm.
now,
Indeed.
whether we want it or not, but still yours.
Well, the thing is that when I started working online, everything changed for me, uh, meaning that I worked with groups, and then I started working individually. And also I have a pair of students I work with at the moment. But working online with groups is more challenging, I'd say, than offline. And the reason is this maybe you can't feel the, that's a control, but you don't feel the whole group all the time. And especially when they go to work in breakout rooms, so you can only switch between them. It takes time on the one hand, and then you listen to one group, and others are totally out of your, let's say, vision, and that's what is not happening when you work offline. Because even if you listen to a pair of students, you sort of eavesdrop on everybody else. And I guess this is something that could be very different. And then I guess the visuals you use, some like handouts, especially when it comes to some like small cards that you want to use, because like it's like, for example, I like using some games with my students, and some course books, they have this type of the game like dominoes, for example. Okay, so it's very easy to do when you do this offline, right? You just cut them out and that's it. But doing this online is a bit challenging, because cutting out like things online, I use Mirrorboard for this reason, but it still takes more time. I mean, like to arrange everything properly. So there are some like drawbacks, but I believe online gives you more opportunities as a teacher to get students from other cities, other countries, and you make yourself visible as a professional to a much bigger number of people, your colleagues, and potential students as well.
Exactly. I think that one of the pluses of the advantages of online teaching is that you can help many more students, because someone who is in absolutely different city but somehow is looking exactly for you, for your style of teaching, for your personality, for your knowledge, but he cannot get it otherwise than online. So it's one of the advantages, I think. Well said, exactly. Inna, and you also mentioned a few conferences you attended and the course you took. Could you please tell me what are your thoughts on professional development, teachers' professional development? What it is for you? How does it look like? How often does it happen?
Well, the thing is that I believe that each of us has certain background, I mean, professional background. And when I just started my blog, and I realized that I would need to make this decision to start, let's say, start being self-employed and find my own students. I started attending a lot of events. Like in 2019, I would attend an event, like a certain event, like every month. I mean, it was as often as that. And I took some courses as well. So it was like the avalanche of, information, insights. And by the end of the year, I started feeling that something was wrong. I couldn't like take in anything. I stopped writing the blog, and I understood it was because of this overload. So I believe that what we need to remember when we pursue professional development, that we need to ration things. And so obviously there's so much out there. I mean, and you can be intimidated by this like amount of data that sort of like you're like bombarded with these like courses, like all webinars, newsletters that you get from some like Oxford, for example, or Cambridge newsletters, and there's always something on. And then you see other teachers, especially those who have their online, like Instagram blogs, they will always say, okay, look at this, I have the certificate, I've done this course, or I'm taking this course, I'm learning again, learning is great. And then, oh my God, I mean, everybody's doing this. I need to be doing this as well. So sometimes when you're driven by such thoughts, even though you can take a course that will actually be beneficial for you, but if it's too much, I mean, it leads nowhere. So I found myself so like overloaded and overwhelmed that in 2020 I hardly bought any courses. I did, but I didn't complete it. I found myself instead implementing a lot of things I learned the previous year. And this helped me actually overcome all this emotional overwhelm I got from the courses. So that is why, like in my today's post, actually it was born because I've been thinking about these questions we were to discuss today. So I've been thinking about, okay, so where is the balance? So I guess the best thing is to have like this profound understanding. So what your strengths and weaknesses are as a teacher, and to understand, and you understand by observing yourself, by analyzing, okay, when I have this lesson, what was good about this lesson and why was it good? If there was something I didn't like, what was wrong? Why didn't I like it? Is it objective, or is it just because I'm too hard on myself? I guess we need to ask these questions. So could I do any better? And if I could have done any better, what should have I done? And things like this. So sometimes asking such questions clarifies a lot. So because very often teachers are very much obsessed with courses like, okay, methods, 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 oh, methods, oh, tools, 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 you know, things like that, which is great. If you need something new, obviously okay, go for it. I mean, learning is great, courses are great, but then, like, I guess this is a stereotypical way it works. Okay, I've taken this course on methods of teaching. Oh, I've bought this webinar on methods of teaching. I bought another, like, something else about methods of teaching. I've got so much, let's say, saved posts in my Instagram on methods of teaching, so many bookmarks in my browser on methods of teaching. Okay, this is cool. Now I'm cool. But the thing is that out of all this number of things that you have hardly worked through 3 items, you know, which means that, okay, if I have this webinar, okay, they are talking about this idea, maybe like 5 ideas. Okay, so I go and work with them. I try them with my students. I see how, okay, I did it the way the speaker said, but it didn't work the way I expected. Why? Maybe because this doesn't suit my students. Maybe I should have adapted this somehow. Maybe I should have kind of thought about whether my students needed it, or maybe they needed something else, a different approach. Okay, I'll try something else next time. I'll do this in a different way. And you see, even if you take one idea and you try it with your students, so it can take you weeks to figure out how this works best for your students, because you can't use one technique once and say, okay, I know how to use it. You need to give it a shot a few times, have a go at it a few times. I mean, to see what works, what doesn't, how you can manipulate this approach. Maybe there's something else you can add. How can you use it when you do this? How can you use it when you do something else? So there are so many questions to ask. And when you think about this, like this avalanche of information that you have, and do you really need all of this? I mean, do you really need all of this right now? You know?
I have a goal in my year to attend 20 courses.
Yeah, I mean, I really, it's like, okay, I took some courses that I believe it's very important to understand why you need them. So if I work with adults, so I found things that I needed, like in 2019, I was focused on andragogy, lexical approach, language coaching, and micro teaching. So basically, I took courses, bought webinars, attended conferences, and just because there were different ways like to address this information, I read something, I tried out things, I saw what worked, what didn't, I understood, okay, I like this, it's working, and maybe I want to find out more about this because it kind of works for me, for my students, so let's do more of this. And basically it was effective because like I have so much things that, I mean, that are there that on my hard drive and waiting my attention and my time. So I'm not going, I don't think I'm going to buy something anytime soon, but things I do go for though, they aren't about like teaching stuff. They are more about personal stuff. And I believe this is tremendously important because when we want to deliver the best to our students, we obviously think about professional skills like methods of teaching, or and other related things, which are very important. As I said, they are at the core of what we do. So this is what makes us professionals. But it's not only professional facet that we have, because when we come to the classroom, when we get online with our students, it's not only our professional skills that we project to them. We project a lot of things, our personality, our like temperament. We project our hobbies, our belief system, value system, our understanding of the world, you name it. And I believe if we want to have our students interested in us, because you see, the thing is, even though there's a very interesting quote from the play theater, which says that I don't remember exact wording, but it's something like, so the woman, so the woman gets a man like interested in herself by her virtues, and then makes a man stay with her because of his vices. Something like this. I don't remember whether it's the exact wording, but so your students come to you because they've heard or they somehow know that you're a good professional, but they don't stay with you necessarily because of your skills, because some other people might have the same skills, or even better than yours. But very often people stay with you because of the person you are. And I believe it's very important to project as well. And things we do for ourselves, or like enhancing our personal skills, are as important as things we do to enhance our professional skills. So things I went for were about, some like coaching stuff, therapy stuff, things about understanding how, how energies work, how money works, things like that. So, and I'm happy I've done this because that this is something that is in line with my values, and I'm happy that I attract people and students like with whom I can share like my values and my perspective upon the world.
What are your sources of inspiration right now?
Oh, wow. Well, I believe we can find inspiration everywhere, but things that inspire me, first off, it's nature. I like nature very much, taking long walks, taking pictures of the nature. And what is interesting is that I often showcase these pictures in my stories. And there are some people like who follow me who actually always react to these stories, like to the stories with nature, and they say, okay, I like your stories of nature so much. And I've never thought about this too. I thought, okay, people are with me because I post all these kind of useful posts or whatever. But again, so things that speak to them from, things that, let's say, present you as a person, not just as a professional, can speak to people as profoundly as things you share like professionally. So yeah, so nature is one big, huge inspiration. Apart from teaching methods, I have some other areas of interest. I like history a lot. History can be very therapeutic because it puts things into perspective, and then you understand that neither you nor your situation, like personal, not the situation you face, like in your country, historically at this moment of time, nothing is unique. Something like this has been already. People would figure out things like this over the centuries, and another thing that I like about history, it has a lot of sense of humor and irony, and I believe this is something to learn from. That we shouldn't be too serious about ourselves and about things that happen to us. Maybe we should take it easy from time to time, not to be overwhelmed with everything that happens to us. So it's like the story with Henry VIII, who wanted the sun so much. He did all these like terrible and wonderful things as well. And then he ended up having a girl, like a female ruler, as like two female rulers as like the most famous female rulers, not only in English, but the world history, I believe. So this is an irony. And another thing I like about history is that it's actually about trusting yourself, because very often we are so much obsessed with respecting authority that we forget that like our opinion or our point of view upon things can have value. And a good example from history is that when just before the Renaissance, people of Rome started digging out all those wonderful statues and understanding it's their heritage, and they need to let's say, stick to these ideals. And they see these wonderful marble statues, like pure and white, and they said, okay, obviously our ancestors, they were wonderful, that they were, I mean, they were able to create such beauty, and they started creating similar white marble statues. But it's only centuries later when we could figure out that those statues were not white. They were colored in all possible ways, in all possible colors. It's just that throughout centuries the colors faded out and they found only white marble. And but just because they thought everything should be white, they created such beautiful architecture that we get fascinated with up until now. So as you see, even if we misinterpret things, they can lead to very beautiful results and very beautiful outcomes. That's why I like history and art as well. I like interpretation of films and symbols as well. And this is something that I get inspired with a lot.
Oh my God, it's so interesting. I didn't know about it actually. You still always learn something new, Ina. And talking about the professional development, I must mention that you help other teachers to develop too. Could you please tell us a hint on how this, actually, what this project is? From you, so that you introduce it. How did you find this idea, meaning how did you start and how is it going?
Well, thank you very much for asking. And the thing is that, as I said, like last year, I worked with, it was the beginning of the year, and I had some students, and but then there were some teachers among them. And then I wanted to do something for teachers very much, and I wanted to do this for myself as well. I thought that there are some interesting topics that we never get to discuss because, like, for different reasons. And I like this topic so much. I like to talk about language. I like to talk about, you know, different perspectives on different things, like the way we learn language, the way we use it, the way we teach, the way we talk to ourselves, after all. And I decided to actually launch this project to give the teachers, because you see, like, I come from this like academic setting. I've had these opportunities like to come together with teachers and to talk about these topics during conferences, and it was so beautiful when we do this in a relaxed atmosphere, but we talk about things that matter to us, that have significance to us. And this is I mean, it has such a therapeutic effect, just to actually being able to share your concerns about something, say that, okay, I understand this, and oh, really, you do? I understand this too. Okay, I'm like you. It's so great. You know, I mean, I didn't realize we could have so much in common. And basically, this is the feeling the participants of Talking Teachers Club have when we start discussing everything. Because, you know, you see, we're so much caught up in routine, right? So we, especially these days when there's not so many opportunities to visit some events like offline that give this cool vibe, and which I like so much. And then this was the idea. So to bring teachers together, give them some interesting questions, give them some creative tasks, so that they stop and think, oh my God, like, I've never thought about this. I've been learning language for so many years, but I've never stopped to think about, like, this question, maybe my attitude to something, or maybe write a poem about it, you know, things like that. And then to look on the look at the teaching in perspective, like to have this bird's eye view upon what is happening, like in my lessons, you know, and like to address things like self-talk. I mean, do I tend to criticize myself? Like, do I praise myself enough? This is so important because, like, our teachers really have this issue, because, like, I mean, we've been discussing this and I can relate to this a lot. There's doing everything, you know, perfectly, you know, you should be perfect to say, yes, I was good. But then if you are just good, aren't you good? I mean, so yeah, so issues like this and this idea, like to bring teachers together, give them like safe environment to talk about things that matter to them, to be open, to be heard, and to be accepted and understood, while having the opportunity to listen to others and to understand and realize how much we have in common, how friendly towards each other we can be, and how many insights we can draw out of this communication.
Oh my God, I already imagine how valuable it is. And after each session, I imagine the teachers like flying, you know.
Oh, I hope so.
That's
I mean, I've
so
had
good.
some nice feedback up until now. I hope the tendency will continue.
Sure, I'm sure about it. And actually, how do you come up with the topics for each session? Do teachers select those? Do they prepare, or do you prepare? How does it?
Well, so normally throughout the week we communicate. So they have like 3 days on which I post the tasks. So sometimes these are just questions, sometimes like small videos or articles they need to read or watch the video or watch a film. It's 1 week is about a film. And like it works like a lesson. So Monday is kind of a warmer. Then there's some information like to like it's like test, teach, test, I guess. It's test, then teach, then test again during the Zoom session. So normally, I mean, so when they spend enough time discussing this topic throughout the week, so Zoom session, it's kind of like has some special tasks for them. I prepare special tasks for them on reflection, some creative stuff as well. So yeah, some food for thought, obviously, because it's all about like let's say provoking, right? Thought-provoking questions and reflection, you know, and
Cool. It
creativity.
sounds super interesting.
Oh,
So, okay, then Ina, please tell us how can we join?
well, so just DM me. Like I'll tell you everything you need to know. And
Fine.
I've
Yeah,
also
all the
created
questions.
another account, which is called Talking Teachers Club. There's
Mhm.
like another account where I provide all the necessary information about this project. So you can DM me either in this account or in mine.
Sure. And when would be the next, let's say, group of teachers?
Yeah, so we start on the 1st of February. So
Mm.
now you can apply and join.
Wonderful, wonderful. I
Yeah.
should definitely include it into the comment under this
Yeah,
video.
it will be great. It will be great. Thank you very
Sure.
much.
Ina, thank you so much for all of the insights. Unfortunately, we have the limit here on Instagram. But also, I am super thankful for your time devoted to this wonderful talk. Thank you for sharing all of the ideas. I hope that they would be inspiring and motivating for our colleagues. Everyone will hear something what they needed to hear or what they were looking for. And of course, dear colleagues, so encourage you to text Inna for whatever the questions you may have. And if you would be interested in more details about such teachers club from the perspective of setting it up, maybe just let us know, and then we will talk with Inna, and maybe we will devote another session for this. If you would like to learn from Inna her path, how she did it, how she actually succeeded. Uh, so it's just all
Thank
up to
you.
you guys.
Well, thank you. Thank you for
Just
having
text.
me. I mean, I've enjoyed it tremendously.
Yeah, me too. Thank you so much, Inna, and I wish you all the best luck with all of your ongoing
Thank you.
projects.
Thank you very
Yes,
much.
and
Thank
all
you.
the courses which you selected for yourself. And I will be definitely reading your insights on that.
Okay, thank you a lot.
Thank you, dear. Thank you guys for being with us, and to all of us, stay safe and be with us.
Yep. Okay.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.